Hello. So there's nobody here yet. I'm only going to be here for an hour or less. Doing three-card pulls or one-card pulls, and there's information below about where you can get a more detailed reading. At least I think there is. Should have done this before I went on. Oh well. Whoops. Not that there's anybody here yet. Oh, yeah, I see there is one person here, unless that's counting me. If you're here, do you have a question? And still no questions. I wonder if that one person listed is me. I should probably be talking in case this gets saved later so that it, doesn't look. Hi, Bonita. How you doing? Can you hear me? Hello, Bonita. Can you hear me? Do you have a question for the cards? Looks like you're not here anymore. Or maybe you are. Are you back? Or is that somebody new coming in? Sure, I will pull a few cards for you. I get the Queen of Swords, which means that you're going to be needing to deal with a woman who's very strong and very intelligent, possibly somebody who will be a boss or somebody who you're trying to borrow money from. And she will be opposed by the Queen of Cups, who's another strong woman, but who's more emotional. The first one is very smart. The second one is more emotional and cares about you more. So possibly you'll have two different job opportunities. The third one is the Page of Cups. which suggests that you will end up going with the woman who's more emotional, and she will make you sort of a protege to her. So getting a job with her would enhance your emotional state. It isn't necessarily going to be a lot of money right away, but it should help you to gain skills that will help with money in the long run. If any of that resonates at all with you. Sure, Peace Edge. What's the question? What are Jay's true intentions towards you? I get the Five of Cups, which suggests that Jay's intentions are not good. Like maybe he's hurt and he wants everyone else to be hurt too. Um, I pull the High Priestess, which suggests that um, you're emotionally strong enough to deal with it. So if it's a matter of him just being sort of a dark and brooding kind of person, or her being a dark and brooding kind of person, you might you would be able to weather that. And in the end, I get the Seven of Coins, which suggests that if you're willing to put up with that sort of darkness, um, it can pay off and be a good thing, but it'll be a lot of work to get there, and it's sort of up to you whether or not you want to do that work, since that initial phase is going to be kind of him or her trying to be hurtful. Hi, Elsa. What are you doing wrong with Alex? I get the King of Swords. Um, it suggests that Alex sees you as trying to be in charge and be smarter than he or she is. Um, I get the impression in the set with the Seven of Cups that what he or she is seeing is an illusion. He's not seeing the real you. He's seeing something that you're throwing out there for him or her to look at, but it isn't really the real you. And I get the Page of Coins, which suggests that there might be somebody else in the picture that he or she is also looking at. So you might want to get like the real you out there for Alex to see before that gets to be too much of a thing. I don't know if any of that resonates at all. Hi, Pierre. Sure. You're welcome, Elsa. What's your question, PRN? Well, you know what, Elsa? The thing about it is, even when we're trying to be real, sometimes we're doing our best. Like before you go out, you might, when people first start dating, for example, they'll always dress their best or try to look their best, and that might be what you want to do, and in that sense, it's real. But it isn't the way you're going to look for, a month from now when you've had a lot of time together. And it's that way with emotions and thoughts and things too. People are on their best behavior, and over time that slips a bit. PRM, you want to know when you will be married. Well, let's see if I can get some timing in. I get the Six of Cups. That doesn't give me a whole lot of idea about a when. Normally for when, I need to do a little bit more detailed reading. Let me pull a few more. I get the inverted Four of Swords and the Death card. It suggests to me that for the near future, like for the next several months, you'll meet somebody who, or whoever is in your life now. There'll be some romance and it'll be good and you'll enjoy it, but that it's not going to be the one. So I can't tell you when you're going to be, okay, I can't tell you when you're going to be married, but I can tell you that the next person that you're going to be involved with is going to be good for a while, but it's not going to last. So, not yet. For longer reading, if you look at my website and whatnot, we could book something and I can do like incorporate some astrology into it, and maybe we can get a more accurate read on a time. But let's see. Hi, Ocean. Sure. What's the question? Hi, Jesse. Hi, Pseudo. You're welcome, PRM. Okay, Ocean. I get the Nine of Cups, which suggests that he's a little in his own head today, and probably not. But even if you do hear from him today, he's going to be thinking about his own things and not necessarily focused on you. So you might have to go the extra mile to get his attention. Sure, Pseudo, you can ask a question. Okay, Pseudo, I get the Seven of Wands, which suggests that he feels, or she, Sahir, feels under attack and like he's got to fight for his or her space. I also get the Knight of Wands, which suggests that he or she is becoming more aggressive about that. And I get the inverted Empress, which suggests that there isn't a lot of affection at the moment. Sure, Jesse J, you can ask a question. By the way, Pseudo, if that makes any sense to you, I'd love to know. Okay, Jesse J, will H ever offer a commitment? I get the King of Pentacles and the Four of Coins and the Two of Swords. Swords, all of which say to me that while H may be warm towards K, H is currently preoccupied with something to do with money or perhaps health, and he or she is really closed up into his or her own mind at the moment. And so while in a short reading like this, I can't look at the very long term, in the next few weeks or months, it looks like H is going to be too wrapped up in other things going on to be thinking about a commitment. Yeah, Pseudo, that was all those rods. It looked like he or she was thinking that they're under attack as well. So it might be a mutual thing. If you're fighting, it might be that you both think that the other one is attacking, and you might need to try and get to the root of it and figure out why he or she thinks they're attacked, and why they're reacting to you the way they are, and why you're thinking that you're attacked. I know my own wife and I will say things that make us feel like we're under attack all the time when that's not what we mean. We just talk differently. Hey, New Star. Can I answer a question for you, New Star? What's positive happening for you this November? I see the Knight of Cups suggests that you're going to meet a person who's a man who is emotional, who's going to be on your side in whatever you happen to be focused in. I get the Hierophant, which suggests that whatever this new relationship is, whether it's romantic or emotional or whatever the case may be, that it's going to have a spiritual component. And I get the Seven of Coins, which suggests that some sort of long-term investment that you've been making could be it probably physical, like money or health or something, exercise or investments or getting a new job or something, but it could be emotional too, but probably physical, something that you've been working towards and harvesting, or something you've been working towards is going to come into bloom. Something you've been working towards is going to happen, and it's going to happen good, and it will have been worth all the hard work. I don't know what that could be, but maybe you can tell me. Looks like the career is going to pay off, and the love might be coming. Hey Dana, how you doing? Got a question? I'm kind of new at this myself. Feel free to ask. Thanks, New Star. I appreciate that. Okay, Dana, what I get is the Empress, um, which would suggest that, yes, he does have feelings for you, and in fact, quite strong ones. Um, in fact, the feeling of love in particular. The Empress is, among other things, the goddess Venus or the planet Venus in astrology. So it's powerful, powerful stuff. Um, I also pull the King of Cups, which suggests that he's an emotional person. Um, and while these are both good cards, when I see that much emotion in a man for a woman so early on, I would almost be a little afraid that because he's so emotional so soon, that he might be emotional about everything all the time. I don't know that. The card doesn't say that. That's a guess. The card is just he's an emotional guy and he's strong for you. Um, and then I get the Eight of Swords. And the problem with the Eight of Swords is that it suggests that you're going to come to a point with this guy where either you or he is going to be like overthinking it, and the thoughts are this might be him then if he doesn't open up a lot. The swords symbolize thought, mental stuff, and the person is all tied up and blindfolded, and it would make him closed off at time because he's afraid that if he moves the figure's feet, there's water. The water is emotion. The water is emotion, and it suggests that if he can follow his heart, if he follows his heart and the emotion and the water, then he'll find his way back to that. So the trick is when he gets closed off is to try and appeal to his emotion, um, and hopefully that'll do it. Of course, if you're ever interested in a more detailed reading to get some ideas about how to do that, feel free to go to my website and book a reading with me. And I hope that answers some of your immediate questions. You're more than welcome. And, you know, you're new at it and I'm new at it, so I'm glad we did it together. Not that I'm new at reading, I'm new at being on YouTube. I have been using tarot since 1982. If you're still here. I'm not a spring chicken, I'm afraid. And my girlfriend in college gave me my first deck, and I've still got it. Well, being an expert is a relative thing. I would say yes, I am, but I know people who know a lot more than I do, so, you know, no. We dated for about 3 years, and then this was when I was in college, and I graduated from college and I didn't have any money to stay in the city where the college was, so I had to go live with my parents. It was hundreds of miles away, and trying to maintain the long distance relationship until I could, make the money to go back. Um, it just didn't work out with it, that sort of distance. I am married now, though. In fact, I've been married for 30 years. Well, strong is a relative word, too. I mean, we fight a lot. I think the first thing that I had to learn was that every time we fight doesn't mean it's the end of the marriage and that we're going to get divorced. For a long time, I thought every time we fought, oh no, this is it, this is the end. It took a long time for me to realize that you can fight with somebody and that it's not the end of things. You don't have to put an end to things just because there's a fight. Um, and that's when you're starting a new romance, that's the thing. I think we want what we want, and it's easy not to stay with somebody because you're not getting what you want. But you have to decide what you want in the long term. I mean, there's what do I want today, and there's what do I want 3 years from now, and is what the person does that makes me think I don't want to be around them, is that something? The real decision is that something that you can live with for a very long time, or is that just going to annoy the crap out of you and you're better off looking for somebody else? It's a tough thing to think about. Well, the fact of the matter is that the fact that you fight doesn't necessarily mean that you need to split up, like I said. But at the same time, is it something that you want to do all the time? If I knew that my wife and I were going to fight as much as we did, I don't know that I would have gotten married. Um, I might have. I think that she needs me and I need her, but there's a lot of things to consider. You don't want any one thing to be the only thing. You want to try and get a look at the big picture. No, I don't think anybody does. But people are different and people think differently. Like my wife comes from a family where all they do is fight. Now, if you think about that for a minute, it means all the while you're growing up, all the time you're a kid, everybody's fighting all the time. She hates fighting, but it's the way she grew up. It's the way she learned things. It's the way she communicates. Um, the way I sort of like to approach a relationship is like I speak one language and the other person speaks another language. And before you can really, it looks like I'm frozen. No, before you can really decide for sure, you have to make sure in your own head that you know how they talk, how they say what they do, why they feel the way they do. You've got to understand it more than just hear it because we use words differently. You probably get my point a lot faster than and I just keep talking because I like the sound of my own voice. On the Kabbalistic tree of life, which is a thing to do with magic and philosophy, um, understanding is like the third closest to God. Wisdom. I just like to hear myself talk. Thank you for listening to me. Hi, Goddess 01. I'm good. How are you? Got a question? That's a tough place to be. I get the card Strength. It's one of the Major Arcana, number 8, Strength. And I get the Four of Swords, and I get the Eight of Swords. Strength suggests that whatever's happening, you're going to get through it, that you've got the strength, that you will be able to handle whatever comes. The Four of Swords suggests that you will find some place or safe to be sleeping. It doesn't suggest that you're going to find a new home necessarily this month, but it does suggest you'll have someplace warm to crash at night when you need to sleep. The Eight of Swords suggests that a lot of the problem is mental, that if you follow your emotions, that it might lead you to where you need to be. The person's house, it's hard to see in this card, and I don't know if you're familiar with the card, but if you look in the background, there is a house, and this person is blindfolded, and there's a lot of obstacles set up which are mental, but the water that he's walking on is emotion, and that will guide him through the swords, and it suggests that there is a home somewhere available to you, but it isn't someplace that you're seeing in your mind. It's someplace that you know in your heart, like maybe family who you think that you're not welcome with, but maybe you are, or maybe there's a friend who you don't want to impose on, but is actually willing to help. It suggests there's something there. You're not seeing it because you're being too mental about it and not emotional enough about it. Does any of that make any sense to you at all? And does that Is it pushing any buttons? Oh yeah, NYC is definitely a tough place. Um, it doesn't look like your own place is in the cards at the moment, literally, but there definitely is a place. Sure you can, Dora. What's your question? You're welcome, Goddess. I get the Seven of Swords again, or the Eight of Swords again, which was just up. Um, it suggests that he isn't paying attention to his own feelings. Um, he has them, but he currently is not thinking about his feelings at all. He's wrapped up on something else. I get the Six of Swords, which suggests that his mind is about making some sort of transition, some sort of big change in his life, like he's moving somewhere or thinking about something that he needs to do that's different from what he normally does. And I get the Star, um, which almost suggests that um, there's going to be a burst of feelings. I can't tell from that whether it's you. I'll draw one more. I get Judgment. Um, he's going to be thinking about his feelings for you. No, he's not focused on emotions at all. He's focused on something else. Um, in the future, emotions will be coming up, but he isn't going to be feeling them as much as he's going to be thinking about them. So if you really want him to be thinking about you, you need to be appealing more to his mind and his thought processes than his emotions for now. Although, if you're an emotional person, you might want to consider whether or not you think it's worth that sort of effort, because you might be on very different wavelengths in the way you think about things or feel about things. Hi, son. I get the impression, Dora, that he's real confused too. And it could just be he's not used to being emotional. Well, the cards didn't have a lot to say that would give me a clue onto that, unless the fact that he's just thinking about you, mixed in with all the other things he's thinking about. It could just be that although you specifically asked about his feelings, and the cards made it clear that um, there was water. Water is emotion, and water was in all of those cards. But none of the character in the cards was not focused on the water at all. So although there's emotion there, it's not in his mind. Um, it if you hadn't asked about his emotions, if you'd have asked about like his body, it could just be that he's hot for you. Um, he's a Pisces. Um, that suggests that he has a nature where he cares about people. Pisces is sometimes called the sign of love. None of that really shows up in these cards. But the card for Pisces is the moon, which has like a long, winding road on it. And it suggests that where his emotions are is probably on his personal journey. And he might not be in a spot where he's thinking about somebody else's place in that. Sure you can, son. Go ahead. Yeah, Dora, a hard person and a very aggressive person. Given all those swords, the swords can be trouble for people who are not like on that same wavelength. And I would think long and hard if I were you about whether or not you want to be in a position like you're in, and whether or not it might not be time to move on. Well, again, with an astrological sign, a lot depends on where Mars was, where Venus was, where the moon was. How does your platonic friend H see you, son? I pull the Three of Cups, and that suggests that H sees you as somebody to party with, somebody to enjoy life with, somebody to have a good time with and hang out with. It doesn't seem to be a whole lot deeper than just having a good time. Well, unless he's being violent to you, Dora, you always have a choice on when somebody shows up at your door as to whether or not you let him in. I'm glad to hear that, son. I'm not used to doing the YouTube thing yet, nor I'm used to doing longer, more detailed readings for people. So it's very good to have the feedback, and I appreciate it. Oh, Dora, you're more than welcome for it. I'm sorry that this guy is causing you so much trouble. Thank you, Dora. I appreciate that. And I think with that, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. With that, I think I'm going to go for now. I think it will be dinner time here soon. It was good to meet you, Dora, and I enjoyed everybody who came by and visited, and hopefully I'll see you again sometime soon. Take care now.